Oh! Oh my God, that's the second time that bass has swatted at it. By the time he swats at it, I'm bringing it in. So I'm just gonna pause right here. Yep. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the KastKing channel. Today we are out testing the brand new Googan soft plastics for crappie fishing and for panfish. Now these things are just coming out. I thought it'd be a great opportunity to not only test the baits and show you guys them, but to pair it up with this awesome BFS reel, the Kestrel by KastKing, and just try to get a good understanding and idea of how they match and how you can fish them. So let's get out here today, fish the few ponds I have behind me, and see what we can get going. Now before we get started, guys, I'm going to walk you through the baits we have here. This is the 2-inch bumpkin bug. It is very similar to that old school bandito bug by Googan. The next one we have is the chubby grubby, which is a 1.75. It comes out to about 3 inches once you stretch it out, though. It is that chubby grubby, which is most similar to the mondo worm by Googan. Now we have the snacky swimmer. This is a 2-inch. It comes in 2-inch and 2.5, very similar to that saucy swimmer. And once again, it is a pretty good looking bait. And last but not least, we have the dangle dart, which is a 2.5-inch dart fluke style bait, similar to that Googan dart, and it works very, very well as well. Now, I think in this type of weather, typically in overcast, I like throwing pinks, so we're gonna probably stick into these electric chickens. They also have this blackjack that just pops like crazy, but the first bait we are gonna start with is that little tiny bandito bug, the bumpkin bug, and it's in that electric chicken color. So now that we've talked about the baits, the colors, all that good stuff, let's go ahead, give this thing a dangle out there and see what we can get going. Now the setup I'm throwing this on is actually my creek setup. I usually go with a little bit longer rod, but I wanted to give this thing a real test, and honestly we're getting some good distance out there. Pretty impressed. Yeah, we got 6-pound braided line on there, and then I got a 1/16 of an ounce jig head right now. That makes sense. Well, it sounds like neighbor says this place got completely rained out pretty bad, so we're gonna head out to the next spot real quick. All right, guys, we're at our second little spot. I decided to swap out my rod. Now, this is the only other rod I had with me, so bear with me. It's not the proper rod for this, but it is gonna work for what I wanna do. Work this thing around this pond. Start trying to target some of these panfish, sunfish, whatever might be in the area. This thing looks pretty good working in and out of this grass patch. This looks like a nice little area where there's windbreak, so we're gonna give it a quick dangle right here. Oh, is that? Oh, we got a bass. That's our first fish, guys. Followed it up, we got ourselves a nice little tiny pan-sized bass. Dude, this thing just smoked it last second. Hold on, little buddy, let me get you up here. Let me get you up here, show everybody. There we go, a nice little pocket bass on our little tiny setup, guys. That bumpkin bug gets us a nice little pocket bass. Here we go, guys, first fish of the day, just like that. Let's see if we can get some bigger ones. See you, buddy. Let's see if we can get some sunfish too. To be honest, I was working my way towards that grass over there, and I was like, hey, this is a nice little break, nice little calm area. As you can see, there's no ripples right here, so potential for a drop off, and we found a fish hanging out there. So let's give it a few more casts out here. Working it real slow too. I have a feeling we're gonna have to work it real slow, the temperatures. So that's what we're gonna do, is just almost just drag this thing on the ground, and that loop knot that I've tied on there kind of allows it to pivot backwards when you crank it in or move it at all, so it gives it its own slight movement that'll help attract fish. Oh, we're on something good. That is good. What is it? Oh, no way, no way. That is a monster crappie. I really want to land this. This thing's so big. This is monster crappie. Are you freaking kidding me right now, guys? I'm so freaking out. I did not expect us to catch a crappie like this. Look at that. Oh. That's gotta be like a 2-pound crappie. Oh my goodness. All on that little tiny Googan bait, man. This thing is absolutely insane. Second fish beautiful crappie, man. Let's go. Look at the mouth on that thing. I love catching crappie, but I've never really hammered him on BFS or ultralights, and that was honestly a game changer. So much fun. Mouth closed, completely closed. We got him at 14.5 inches. Straighten out that tail. I bet you we can get a little bit longer. I'm gonna call him about 15. He's just shy of 15. I'm thinking almost 2 pounds. Dude, 1.8 on the crappie. Let's go. Thanks for the fun. Get out of here. Check out by this grass line over here. Good potential. Nice cast with the BFS, man. So accurate, so easy. Oh my God. Oh, whatever that was, absolutely assaulted this thing and then tried to run into the trees over there. I thought it broke me off for a second, how it went dull so quick. Hook set just is not what I wanted. There we go. It's hard because it's like you don't want to set the hook on them, but you have to sometimes. What is it? Oh yes, it's a nice monstrous pumpkin seed. Look at this thing, boys. This is what we're after. Oh my goodness, this is a beautiful fish. Absolutely beautiful. Look at the transition of colors. It's almost like a tigery stripe. It goes from like an orange to a blue to a brown and green. It's definitely a hybrid fish of some sort because it's got the green sunfish fins, the anal fin, those yellowing flares. Very, very common in that green sunfish that we have here, but the body and shape of it reminds me of a bluegill, and the pattern looks like a pumpkin seed. So definitely a hybrid of some sort, and as you can see, he chowed that thing down. See you later, buddy. Let's get this right back over there, man. Fun part about bait cast, you can just dangle so much easier. Look at that cast, dude. We're bombing it. I think we're on. No, okay. It's getting hit as soon as it hits the water, like every time. Yep. We're on something good. That's better. It's pulling down. Oh, what is that? We found a little sunfish pocket, huh? It's another good little sunfish. Not as pretty as the last one, but that is definitely that traditional bluegill pattern. Woo! All right. Trying to look at you, buddy, and show the camera, but guess not. Kind of one of those like copper nose looking bluegill. Just a little bit colder, so the pattern isn't as vibrant. That's the crazy thing right now is the water's transitioning so intensely. It's like warmer out there than it is on these edges for sure. You can see these fish are getting real finicky. All right, let's get this thing swapped out. I think I'm gonna go with more of like a little bait fish presentation next. Let's see, what do we got in my pocket? Let's go with this little dangle dart. There we go, we got it on that pink jig head still. Presentation looks good, it should swim good. It probably won't be the same as a fluke, but the way that this is in a loop knot, it'll kind of pivot back and forth and give it a nice subtle movement. So I'm probably gonna work my way to the other side of the pond and see if we can get anything going over there and then finish out our day. Just want to try to get my back to the wind so I'm not as cold. Maybe we can cast a little bit further too, who knows. Oh, what is that? That's a good fish. That is not a sunfish. Oh goodness, I'm just gonna walk with it. What is it? Oh, that's a good bass. Not a huge bass, but it's a good bass. Let the rod fight it. Come on, buddy. Fight it up. Don't bust me. Ready, flip it. Oh. That is our second biggest fish of the day. I was gonna say our biggest fish, but that crappie definitely outsized that thing. But I knew that this lure would instantly catch some fish just because of the imitation and size. There we go, a nice bass. Beautiful largemouth, traditional, really black tail, perfect colors, nice lateral line. Let's get him back in the water. That guy absolutely hammered that thing. Let's see if we can catch some fish and avoid some of this loud noises that's gonna be in the background. Excuse that for a minute, guys. That's a good sunfish. Look at that pumpkin seed, boys. That is a monster pumpkin seed right there. Very, very yellow Crazy colors on that one. Perfect hook set on him too, right in the cheek plate. Easy in, easy out on that guy. I will point out real quick, guys, is when you have these loop knots, I don't know if you can tell, it allows that line to move a little bit more freely inside these jig heads or whatever you're tied onto. So when these fish are running with it, my line might be pulling this way and the fish might be pulling down or sideways or up, whichever way the fish is pulling. As you can see, that hook, it can pull downwards, it can pull upwards, it can pull in any trajectory, which works very well for panfish because they tend to dart around in circles because they're a little bit smaller. So that's why I went with this typical setup, but it'll also help me secure bass and stuff like that on smaller jig heads because it keeps them pinned a lot easier. And instead of the pressure going on the hook and bending, it is now turning on that swivel. So you have a little bit more of a way to pin them. It's a little bit lighter and easier on the hook too. So I'm not saying it's going to guarantee you hookups, but it's going to kind of help. It helps me, at least in my experience. I feel like it's increased my hookups. So it's just something I wanted to point out for you guys. You know, we walked on this side, 2 casts, back-to-back fish. Oh, there we go, a third. Oh, oh my God. I don't know what happened. I think this thing got ripped out of the mouth of a fish, and then that bass saw it and darted in after it, just completely missed it. That is insane. This thing must match the bait fish like perfectly. It makes me not want to swap out to any other bait now. That is 3 casts and we've had 3 bumps. Almost a big fish right there too. I gotta make sure my drag's set in case it needs to run for something like that, because that was pretty wild. Oh my God, that's the second time that bass has swatted at it. Second time that same bass has come up at it, man. He's gonna get it. That's like a 2-pound bass too. Hopefully he doesn't break me off. I need to double check my line here shortly. I think what's happening is that bluegill are chasing it up. He's seeing them chase it up, chase them off of it, and then he swats at it. But by the time he swats at it, I'm bringing it in. So I'm just gonna pause right here. Yep. Talk it into talk, baby. I'm gonna pause it right there. Come on, please don't break me off. Don't break me off, buddy. Don't break me off. Don't break me off. Don't break me off. Come here. Hold on. Let's get you to a closer area where I can just flip you up. Flip, flip. Oh, yes. 3rd time's the charm, guys. This bass has swatted out my lure about 4 times. On the 5th time we caught him. It's insane. I said it to you, I'm gonna pause it real quick, and next thing you know, we got ourselves a nice one, man. What an awesome day this has turned out to be. Solid fish. I think that's like the first time he's been caught. 1.58, 1.6. So this thing's smaller than the crappie technically. I'll take it though, man. Solid fish. Lengthwise, he's being the crappie. As far as weight, he's not. As far as fight, definitely a little bit more ambitious fish right here than that crappie. Let's get him back in the water. We'll change out our lure and try to give you guys a good understanding of one more of these lures. I think you guys can see that this dart works absolutely insane and will definitely catch a fish. Let's see what we need to try. There we go. Let's put on one of these chubby grubbies right here. Black and pink. Little grub. Curl tail grub style lure. One of my favorite style of baits to fish for panfish or just even bass when it's a really pressured pond. So this can definitely catch some good bass like the one that we just had, maybe bigger. Bait caster, man, you can just get this thing halfway across the pond with ease. I love it. Makes it so easy when you're pan fishing or finesse fishing. A lot less fatigue. Oh, that's a good fish. I don't know what it is though. Oh, it's just a bass. Okay, it's just a little one. Fighting big. Why are you fighting so big, buddy? This guy fighting like a monster, man. I'm walking with him because I'm afraid he's gonna break me off. That's the last thing I want him to do. There we go, buddy. Another good bass. These things are pretty here, man. He had some crazy colors. This one's more of like a spotted bass looking color. Get him unhooked. Back in the water. There you go, buddy. Absolutely insane. It makes you just want to keep fishing or catching. You gotta keep fishing. That's the rule. As long as we're catching, we'll keep fishing. They like this grub. I think they can see it all the way down there is the thing, and they usually can't see stuff that far down there. Oh, whatever that was, it almost freaking snapped my rod. Not really, but that thing was fighting like crazy. That's why I set the hook on it. It was popping like a bluegill or like a sunfish, a big sunfish. That's the pocket right there. There's a little deep spot. Every time I drop it in there, it's getting hammered. They're hammering it. I just don't want them to take the tail off it either. Ruin my action. There we go. That's one. That's something. It's a good sunfish, I think. Pulling drag, man. Listen to that drag. Screaming. These sunfish are fighting so hard right now. Look at these things down there. Such pretty pumpkin seeds, dude. Look at these things. Absolute brutes. That's why they're going crazy. I can't even put my hand around them because the spikes are so intrusive, man. They're just ready to take you out. Look at those things. Jeez, buddy. You are gonna stay big for a long time, I can tell. Golden sunfish right here, guys. Look at that. Absolute insane fish. Until next time. That's a pretty one we haven't caught yet. About an orange one. Looks like that copper nose I was talking about. We have not caught a pretty copper sunfish yet, so there's our copper one. Basically caught all the ones you can catch in Texas, basically. Here we go. Good day for pan fishing, I'll tell you that much, especially with this BFS. This has changed my mind as far as like pan fishing goes. Like, I just want to continue to pick up this BFS and just keep fishing like this, because as you can see, every cast we're getting it out there, we're catching something. I don't know what this is, but it's bigger. It's running harder. That's for sure. That's for sure. What is it? It's a bass. These bass here, man, they fight like nothing else, don't they? Look at this little tiny guy right there fighting for his life. Absolutely great fight here. All these fish here, insane fish. Get him unpinned. There we go, man. Beautiful fish. Stout too. Other way, buddy. Other way. There you go. There you go. There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is going to do it for today. We had that mindset of getting out here, testing out these brand new Googan baits, and showing you how to do it on my favorite BFS reel of them all. And by golly, did I have one of the best times fishing I've ever had. It might be my new favorite setup. This right here with those baits, like I don't want to stop fishing, man. It was a lot of fun. Really, really fun. So if you guys are interested in picking up these baits, they will be available after Black Friday. So depending on when you guys are seeing this, that's when they'll be available. And if you guys are interested in this setup, once again, is that Kestrel BFS. And the rod we're using, it's not the rod you're supposed to, but it's a Para G2 spin rod, ultralight, still working how it's supposed to, still yanking in the fish, as you can see, pulling out monster crappie, monster sunfish, monster bass, and it was a blast out here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about these awesome new Googan baits, and we'll catch you guys in our next adventure. Thanks for watching. Peace.